Hey, what's going on, everyone? We are back with another episode of the Sell That SaaS podcast. I'm your host, Will Padilla, and we are in Chicago. I'm back home visiting family. Chicago's amazing. We got Leslie here doing the snaps because Chicago is, in my opinion, still the greatest city in the country. Architecture is unbelievable, the food, walkability, and I'm grateful to be born here. So I'm back visiting family right now for a little bit of the summer, going back to Arizona very soon, and thought I'd capitalize on interviewing and having a chat with one of my good friends and other content creator. You guys might know her as Leslie Vanetz.
Yes, Sell That SaaS. I'm so excited to be here. This is how we very first met when I started following the Sell That SaaS handle on TikTok.
Yeah, and
this is very full circle.
And tell everyone your TikTok handle because it's very recognizable.
Is it? I mean, it is now. There's something like it's sales tips talk. Forgive me, I did not think about the tips part of it. I never said it out loud before I picked the handle. I just thought, oh my gosh, Leslie, you're so creative. Sales tips talk. And then when I say it out loud, people are like, TikTok, tip talk. And I'm like, tips talk. But something crazy. I looked recently and I think there's now 5.8 million views associated with that hashtag.
I mean,
isn't that so cool?
Well, one of your videos has over 1 million views, right?
Yeah, but I didn't use that hashtag on it. So just the hashtag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but that one's like almost at 2 million now.
Jeez.
And it was just me, honestly, parroting back a presentation format that I had never heard of before that I thought was cool. But that type of content, because it's so authentic, where I'm like, oh, I just saw this or learned this cool thing. I'm going to share it with you because I think you, TikTok audience, would also love this cool thing. Still performs well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you and I met. We met on TikTok and we were just supporting each other, doing the same thing. And then we did LinkedIn and we got connected there.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think, we didn't do any shows or anything prior to us meeting in New York, right?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I assumed that we had done some sort of collab before, but we did TikTok to LinkedIn to in real life advisor meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was great. So everyone who's listening is when we met at an advisor meeting for Twain.
Yeah.
Which was cool. And
big deal. Sequoia offices, right in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great time. It was, that's how I got Vin on the podcast, was doing the Sequoia thing where we were there and said, okay, let's do a podcast. We're in New York. And I think that was the first time. No, Vin and I met once in Scottsdale, but then we met in New York.
Wait, I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, he came and visited and he was just like, hey, I'd love to collab and I'm in Scottsdale. And I said, oh, I'm here too. And we did 6 video series and the videos did really well.
Yeah.
And we just stayed in contact ever since. So.
Oh, that totally, you guys have such a similar vibe though, really good energy, day in the life, hitting the gym.
Yeah, we're trying.
Putting in the reps.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Vin's very all about that. So sure he'd like this episode as a shout out. But yeah, same thing with you and I, that's why I'm excited to have you on as a guest. And, I think a lot of the audience can get a lot of value from you, not only from your TikTok, which they're more than 30K on TikTok now?
Yeah, I think I should have actually looked. I should have prepared. Geez. I think
you have a lot of followers.
About 38 right now.
Yeah. So, and I think the audience as well will value your TikTok presence because, as you and I know, as content creators, I feel like LinkedIn's really great for one audience, but also TikTok brings maybe a bit more of a younger audience that's just trying to learn sales, and they might see one of your videos and they really resonate with it. And same thing with one of mine. And that's why I think it's good to have both platforms, which you do. So would love to just kind of give you the floor to do a quick intro to the audience. It's mostly software sales, so it's right up your alley.
Yeah, that's SaaS. It's so interesting because wanting to talk to new sellers trying to break into tech sales was a huge part of why I started TikTok in the first place.
Really?
Because I was creating that type of content on LinkedIn and it just, I don't know, I didn't feel like I could bring my whole self to LinkedIn. I didn't feel like it could be as, as playful as you can be on TikTok. And I think a part of it is that I felt a bit like I was sort of preaching to the choir, or what I was saying when I was trying to encourage people to to think about SaaS as a career, especially like women, people of color, like, hey, maybe you've never seen anybody in your family do B2B sales. Like, this is a way to completely like change your generational wealth. Like, let's do this. And like LinkedIn was not the right audience for that message because we're already there. They'd already made the jump. So that is a huge part of why I started on TikTok, was to tell people that sales is pretty amazing and B2B SaaS is an incredible career choice if you're somebody that loves to help people and be curious and also want to like make those 6-figure paychecks.
Right.
Yeah. So I still predominantly use LinkedIn for lead gen because I'm selling to companies, not to individuals. Like, I don't do any courses or like one-to-one coaching. So I use LinkedIn as my social media for lead gen source. And I use TikTok as my like get to say the things that I want to say and encourage people to love sales as much as we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's exactly why I felt like I was more on TikTok centered from the beginning, because I feel like I can be more myself. But now LinkedIn is starting to become that, where you can be a bit more of yourself on LinkedIn. At least I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Like with videos now, with their video feed feature, I love that. And then I feel like people are just sharing more personal stuff. Like, do you get that vibe?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 4 years. So I think you've been on TikTok for about 4 years too, right? 3?
Yeah, about 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 years ago was when I started creating on TikTok. And
is that how you blew up on LinkedIn, or did you already
started
had a good
doing
audience?
it simultaneously? No, I started doing both of them at the exact same time. So now I'm over 40K on LinkedIn, like LinkedIn editorial, top voice, blue badge.
Wow.
I don't even, people are like, what was your aha moment? And I'm like, I didn't really have an aha moment. I just had been using LinkedIn for a really, really long time and only viewed it as a place to go for leads or to get a job. Like, I simply did not view it as a place to build community. And then I started posting a little bit more regularly, connecting with people in the comments, doing coffee connects, and realized, oh, okay, maybe there's something else here. And I would say, Will, I mean, probably in less than a year after I started posting consistently on LinkedIn, I created my TikTok. So like, I've really grown both of them in tandem.
Yeah, you have. And as a business owner right now, how important is your social media for driving you new leads?
Diminishing returns.
Really?
If I'm being honest. Yeah. So what was really interesting is that when I first was a presence on TikTok, and so presence being like I had hit that like 10,000, follower milestone. And at that point I was still like going live, which I just don't do anymore.
Which like is a great way to engage with your followers.
It's such a great way. And if you care about growth on TikTok, like if you are going to put in the time to create all that content, you really should be going live.
I agree.
I just am not doing it anymore. I'm not taking my own advice. But I had that like 10,000 follower count, and I was going live a lot, and I still was working my corporate job. And TikTok was almost my entire inbound lead flow.
At your corporate job?
For my side business when I was still at my corporate job.
Oh, wow.
No, I was selling to like Fortune 250 chief procurement officers. They might have been on TikTok, but they wouldn't have been admitting it at the time.
I totally get that. Yeah. Like, I saw you on TikTok, so now I want to work with you.
Right. No, I want to buy your business intelligence. But for my side business, and then in 2021, what years are there?
Yeah.
In 2021, I closed 48K in revenue on my side business from TikTok leads.
That's insane.
Insane, right? Just like running these training workshops for people.
Training workshops?
Yeah.
Like, you do group coaching or individual?
Yeah, group.
Wow.
Yeah. So people were having me come in and do like a afternoon of workshops with them, or that's when I like started spinning up my like workshop series product because I had to balance in it with my corporate job.
How did you do that?
So I like couldn't take full afternoons off, which was what people were asking for. So I was like, okay, but what I can do is like one workshop a month throughout 6 months or throughout the year or something, so that you kind of have like some consistent training and external support. And then it turns out that that's all like very backed by L&D best practice to space out training anyways,
wow.
and like embed learning. So it worked out really well. And that also was the catalyst for me thinking, oh, maybe I can do this full time. Like maybe I should think about
Was it a
becoming
scary
a full
thought?
time. Oh my
Like
God.
leaving corporate?
You know.
I mean, I'm on the side hustle. I haven't left corporate, right? And I mean, I'll be very candid. Like, I don't always see myself in corporate. I definitely want to be a business owner, like full time. But I haven't crossed that bridge where I'm like, all right, it's time to go. And so I like hearing from people like you, Morgan.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like when you're so used to corporate America, you're so used to this lifestyle of, I mean, just simple things like a constant paycheck, the security, but you did make 48K on your own, which is like super impressive on the side.
Right.
And so I guess how frightening was that when you're thinking, okay, I want to go all in?
It was scary. It was really, I'll paint the picture of exactly how scary it was. So first of all, like I had been in sales for many, many years. I was a sales leader. I was a platform. Like I was making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like I had spent, 15 years establishing myself in the profession. So I was making a pretty comfortable paycheck. And let me be perfectly clear, like 2.5 years into doing this full time, it was 100% the right decision. I'm so grateful to be here. I still miss a consistent paycheck. Like there is, so like people are like, oh, entrepreneurship is the best. I don't miss anything about my corporate life. I think they're lying. Because it is nice to all of a sudden, just like every 2 weeks, $1,000 or a couple $1,000 shows up in your account. And frankly, I miss having like really, really good insurance. But
insurance, that's a big thing.
Yes, I miss insurance for sure. I miss just having it for like free instead of paying like $800 a month for it. But
right.
This is how scary it was to make the decision. I knew I was done with the job I was in.
Yeah.
Amazing job. We switched PE backers, and the new PE backer was still in like the growth at all costs, SaaS mindset, and the direction that they were taking the company in and the direction they saw for my role was not what I signed up for. So I was like, okay, I'm done here. I'm going to start interviewing. And I'd been interviewing for about 6 months, and I gotten a few offers and none of them felt right. And as I'm interviewing, like the revenue for my my passion project just keeps adding up. And I got a job offer on a Friday for a $460,000 package.
Oh my goodness.
I cried. Like it's like even now I have a hard time processing it.
Whoa.
I know. Even now, right now, even though it happened to me, I have a hard time processing it because I was already making really good money. It was way more than I was making. It was more money than I think I ever thought was accessible
in a corporate job.
To me,
sure.
Yeah. Like it just a crazy package. That same exact day, I got a yes back on the biggest deal I'd ever sold for my side hustle.
Shoot.
It was like $28,000.
Oh my goodness.
In the same day, Will. So I'm sitting here and I have this $460K package, and it is like what my mind had told me was the perfect play.
Sure.
Like I was like, I'm pathing to CRO by 40. Like I have been grinding out this career. Like this is the thing. I have the big title, I have the sexy logo, I have the big paycheck. But everything I said about that job was like, I should do this. I would be good at this. And then hearing myself talk about the like 30K passion project, I was like, oh my gosh,
wow.
Like, we could do this and I could try this and this would be so fun. Like one was very much a head play and one was very much a heart play. And because they came in on the same day, it was, the universe was like 2-hand push. Like we're going to put these two options side by side.
Whoa.
And you
Red
have
pill,
to
blue
decide.
pill.
Yes. So it was extra scary because I wasn't just walking away from like the corporate cushy job. I was also walking away from this extra opportunity that is really the thing that I had been working for my entire career, because I did not aspire to entrepreneurship. That wasn't in my plans. That wasn't my dream. So it was a huge decision to walk away from this journey I'd been on and like this path that I had been creating for myself for 15 years, and then just go a completely different direction.
Wow. I mean, that's quite the story.
It was something.
And so you took that jump throughout your time right now as a business owner. Do you have employees, or is it just you rocking?
Just me. Well, I have a lot of freelancers and a handful of VAs.
Which are super helpful.
Super helpful, but no.
I have one, yeah.
Yeah, the beauty of having no full-time employees.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Like that's something I think that a lot of founders I'm friends with, they scale too fast. Totally. And then they kind of find themselves like, oh my gosh, where am I going to get this? And I don't know if you feel this way, but one of my mentors who owns his own business said, oftentimes it's a revenue problem, not an expense problem. Do you kind of have that same mindset? Like what's your mindset in regards to that?
Yeah. So I read this book, thankfully, really, really early on, called Company of One. Maybe like Paul Jarvis is the author, Paul Jarvis, Peter Thiel, one of them. And I had this idea, and I think it's one of the things that stopped me from aspiring to entrepreneurship, because I didn't realize solopreneurship was an option.
Oh, okay. You thought you had to just build a company with employees.
Like I thought that's like, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, that's what you have to do, is like stand up this whole company, especially in the SaaS world that we're in. It's like scale to the moon. And so I honestly, Will, like I hadn't heard a different narrative.
Sure.
And I just, because it wasn't something I had like aspired to or seen in my family or really seen in my community, unless it was somebody doing like a blue collar company.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't make the leap. And so I was flirting with the idea before I'd got the two side-by-side offers and made this big decision. I was flirting with the idea. A friend recommended this book, Company of One.
Company of One.
And the book was all about like you can scale without hiring employees, and you can scale revenue. You can scale profit margins. Like you can scale return on your time.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems so obvious now, but I don't think I'd put any time into those concepts. Like I'd spent exactly no time thinking about those things outside of how does it work in a forecast or in a pipeline or in like a sales leadership lens. Like I had never thought about it in an entrepreneurship lens. And one of I would say the biggest pieces of feedback that I got in my first year was that I was doing it wrong.
First year of entrepreneurship?
First year of entrepreneurship. One of the biggest pieces of feedback I got in my first year of entrepreneurship is that I was doing it wrong because I wasn't scaling, and that good was scale and that bad was staying small. And I luckily had previously spent the time really thinking about it and being like really sure and really confident that I did not want to scale to the moon and I didn't want to have full-time employees, and that's wasn't what I was building. If I didn't have that like steadfastness in my decision, I might have not made it past the first year, because so many people were telling me that there was one way to build a company, and it was to scale. And that by not being an employer, that like somehow the way I was running my business was not valid or wasn't good enough or wasn't like prestigious, fancy, whatever word you want to put in. So I think a lot of people fall into the trap because maybe like me, they didn't think about it, they haven't seen it modeled, or maybe it's because everybody in their network and their sphere of influence is telling them that being an entrepreneur means you have to build this big company and you're only doing a good job if you're scaling to the moon, and anything else is inferior.
I mean, everything you're saying, I'm like super interested in because you took that major risk. They had that offer on the table. You still went forward with entrepreneurship, people were telling you, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. But one of the things that you did is now two and a half years later, right?
Yeah.
2.5 years later, you are still a founder. You're still making waves. You're getting new clients. You're all over social media. But what was that first year like for you as a new entrepreneur, kind of listening to all these different people telling you that, hey, you got to do it one way? And I have this mentor who's very wealthy in Paradise Valley in Arizona, and he kind of took me under his wing the last couple months, and he was an entrepreneur when he started 26. And he said the first year he was just trying to keep the lights on. Like it was like, he was just like trying to fight for everything. And as long as he didn't have to go raise capital or take out major loans, and he was, at least breaking even for the month on everything, he's like, that was a win. And then he's like, then by year 2, you kind of progress there. And he's like, year 3, it's like, wow, this is really great. And so, but he said the first year was tough. I don't know, what was that first year like for you? I mean, maybe it wasn't tough. Maybe it was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
See?
You're totally right. Okay, but here's the distinction. I would bet, I don't know this, Jen, but why so many businesses fail in year 1, or even if they don't fail necessarily, the founder gets so burnt out and is like, not worth it. This isn't for me. I'm going back to my corporate job, where I can show up for my 40 and the paycheck lands in my bank account, where like everything's not on my shoulders, is because they hire too quickly. Like, I think you've absolutely nailed it. People feel like they have to hire, so they hire quickly, maybe before they actually need the staff, and then all of a sudden they have to make payroll.
Oh, wow.
And what a stressor, right?
That just sounds too stressful. That just sounds
so
stressful right there.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't do that. My biggest goal in year 1 was working a 4-day work week and building a 6-figure agency. So I set a very, I think, realistic revenue goal for myself.
Sure.
And really my top priority was, how can I recover from burnout? Because I had burned out 3 separate times in my corporate career, like burned out. How can I question the habits that I've built after 15 years as an IC and a player coach and a people leader, about what is necessary maybe in a corporate sales role, but what I shouldn't carry into my own business? Like a perfect example of that is, in a corporate sales role, you get your territory and you're like, I'm going to close as many of these logos as I can. Like, my job is to like penetrate this territory. I don't need that energy in my own business. That's not my job.
Yeah.
Like, my job is to maybe work with 20 people a year, hand pick the type of work I want to do with the type of people I want to do that have that, like, that value and vibes alignment for me. And so, like, dragging and dropping some of those habits or mindsets from my corporate sales job into my own business, like that wouldn't serve me. So I spent a lot of time just being like, questioning things that I had taken as the default for many years. And on Mondays, Monday is the day I don't do revenue generating work in my business. Still now, 2.5 years later, I do a 4-day work week.
That's great.
It is great. I hold it for like yoga. And I think you and I have talked about this in the past, but I'm a practicing druid. So I like hold it for like religious studies and like journaling. And I do like an extra long meditation and breathing exercises. So it feels kind of unfair to say I don't work on Monday, because I do. I work, and sometimes it's the hardest work I do all week, but it's not revenue generating work. So like that was really my focus in year 1. How can I build a 6-figure business? For sure. But how can I build a 6-figure business that supports the type of person that I want to be and the type of life I want to live?
Yeah. I think the 4-day work week is something that I think a lot of companies should probably institute, where Friday is just like a free day. Like, there's no meetings. You just do whatever you need to do. Like, whether it's meditation or like working out or just spending time with your friends or doing admin work, like just a day where you can not worry about meetings. I think that'd be good. But
so good. A lot of companies in Chicago do it for summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least they'll do like a summer half day on Friday.
Yeah.
And like, of course, all the work still gets done.
Yeah, of course. Because subconsciously you have, it's like vacation, right? When you take PTO, and you have this PTO coming up, subconsciously you get everything kind of done before PTO, and then you're thinking that you're going to miss out on a bunch of stuff, but you worked really hard, so you maximize those days before your vacation, you come back, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're catching up a little bit on email, but everything for the most part is fine, usually at your numbers or close to it. So that's what I found is.
Yeah, same. I think that's spot on.
It's so, and honestly, we could talk probably forever. I know we have like probably 5 minutes left. Just to make
No,
sure.
how did it go so fast?
It went really fast, just to make sure we can get you out of here. We got like 5-7 minutes left.
Okay.
But in regards to, I think I have just 2 last questions for you. One is more so just for myself and also our listeners who have experienced burnout. You mentioned burnout earlier. What are the ways that, or number one, like we'll start with one question first. So how do you know you're experiencing burnout?
Ooh. For me, it was it wasn't one thing. I think for me, it was feeling a lack of interest in other things in my life. I would get done with my work day and I left it all on the field in my work day and was doing good work and was getting great feedback from my bosses and my clients and was hitting my number. And so objectively, it looked like I was just doing amazing in life.
Mm-hmm.
But I would leave and just be like, I don't want to talk to my friends. I don't want to hang out. I don't I have no emotional or mental or like spiritual capacity for anything else. So I think that was a really big one. When I was at one of my like worst states of burnout, luckily it's when I found SoulCycle.
Yeah, that's a great place.
So it literally, I think I was like the advertisement for SoulCycle. I was employee number 1 at a bootstrap startup. I was working like 80, 100-hour weeks. Like,
goodness.
Of course you're going to burn out doing that.
Yeah.
But I had a 6 o'clock SoulCycle class that I went to every day that I did not miss. And I was literally the person that would go and like cry on the bike. Like I would just be profusely sweating. It would be the cool down. I'd be like, so I would say that's a pretty good indicator. But I think,
oh my gosh, yes.
Like another one is like an addiction to hyperarousal. And I feel like probably everybody's listening is going to identify with this a little bit. But we as salespeople, I think as humans in general in America, are like so addicted to hyperarousal and those constant dopamine hits that when we could be done with our work, when we should be relaxing, we are compelled to check our Slack, to check our email. We feel guilt around stillness. We have fed ourselves this narrative that like resting is lazy. And if you are not like listening to this and nodding your head, like that probably means you're tracking towards burnout, because rest is essential to doing your best work. And if you're just going, you're going to go until you're burned out.
Yes. Okay. That was great for me to hear, because I think I've been there with the friends thing, right? You're crushing it at work and then you're wondering why you don't have much of a social life. And you're thinking to yourself, I think I'm at burnout. So, okay. So you talked about, it sounds like for you, SoulCycle was how to deal with burnout. Like
it was huge.
Finding something that you can. That was my next question.
But an outlet.
Yeah, but I feel like the answer to when you feel like you're experiencing burnout, have an outlet where you dedicate it to like your time. Like no 6 a.m. meetings for you. That was SoulCycle time. Like if I can kind of hear this correctly, that's similar to me, right? It's where maybe I want to go for a run in the morning or a walk or something, and someone's in the UK and they're saying, well, can we meet at this time? Sometimes I would take those calls and it would just throw off the rest of my day because I missed my time for something that's really going to help me for the rest of the day. So that's great. Yeah. And then I think just for everyone who's listening right now of like, in software sales, maybe they have a side project because it's so common now, and just kind of telling them one of the things that you feel like the moment when, well, you already kind of explained when you knew, but I think someone who's kind of contemplating that idea right now of like staying in their corporate role or doing their side project full time, what can you give them advice on in terms of just seeing it from both angles?
Ooh, two things. One is remember that it's okay to have hobbies and work a corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you can have a hobby and you do not need to monetize it. And being an entrepreneur is not better than being an employee. So if you are happy in your job, don't stress.
That's right.
Don't stress. Like do your hobbies, like live your best life. Entrepreneurship isn't better. It's just different. So I would say that is one thing that I'd state. Like let's normalize just like doing the job that brings us the most joy, whatever job it is. And I would say the other thing that was really essential to my success, and like we talked about, like my ease in year one, is that I had tested the business as a side business before going full time. And a lot of that was such boring stuff, Will, but it was like setting up my tech stack.
Yep.
Like having a website, and it wasn't a fancy website, but just like having a website, having some like basic workflows down. And I think what that allows is you're not then using those things as an excuse when you go full time, that like, oh, I have to get a website done, or I have to get this set up before you start serving clients. And it also just like reduces a ton of stress. And frankly, the boring stuff helps you decide, is this what I want to do for my job? Like, do I want to own all of it? Because invoicing and like chasing payment and like doing your own tax, there's a lot of like really boring parts of being a business owner that you don't have to deal with if you're just out there like smashing the phones, closing deals as an individual contributor.
Yep, that's right. I think that's well said, and a lot of people probably resonate with that because so many people are doing side hustles right now. It's expensive right now, and so sometimes people are saying, "Look, my job pays me this, my side hustle pays me this. I like doing both. I'm happy."
Yeah.
So that's totally fair. And we could literally have talked forever, but I want to just be so mindful. So in regards to like where my audience can find you, both on TikTok, LinkedIn, and then also just like a quick pitch about your business, and maybe we can get you some leads.
Cool. Yeah. Find me on TikTok, definitely at Sales Tips Talk. LinkedIn is my primary channel. I post there every single day and have been posting every day for over 1,000 days.
Wow.
So that's just at my name, Leslie Vanetz. And anytime somebody asks me like what my business pitch is, all I can think about is like, so what is it that you do here from Office Space?
Yeah.
But I am an outbound girly. Like I am outbound to the core. So the work I love doing the most is either training workshops for teams that want to like beef up their outbound skills, or I often come into orgs like $15 to $50 million B2B SaaS services, and I will build like an outbound strategy and the repeatable processes and write the copy, and then also train the team how to execute against them. So I love doing those big, like set up a full sexy outbound motion projects too.
Love it. I'm all outbound.
I just get so excited when I talk outbound.
Outbound is my favorite topic. It's what I'm good at. It's people I hang around or love outbound as well. So everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Leslie and I's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. Connect with her. I'll list all your stuff in the description so everyone can just connect with you, send you an email. And everyone, we're in Chicago. We're making the best use of our time, hanging out with friends. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, especially if you have a side hustle or maybe you're debating on creating a side hustle and you're in a corporate job. I think this was an episode for you. So have a great one.